Today's movie's a special request from Patreon supporter Mitchell Smith Long, who asked me to review The Galaxy Invader. Well, hey, I haven't done a direct-to-video movie in a while, so this ought to be fun. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. The Galaxy Invader is a 1985 direct-to-video sci-fi film from filmmaker Don Dohler, who also directed other low-budget sci-fi films like The Alien Factor and Nightbeast. These films all have one thing in common, namely that they're all basically about aliens landing in some backwoods nowhere spot and terrorizing rednecks. Well, actually they do have one other thing in common in that they all seem to have been made with whatever change Dohler could find under his couch cushions. Yeah, Dohler was one of those guys who took a real DIY approach to filmmaking, and his movies tend to rely more on enthusiasm than any sort of raw talent. I can't blame the guy for trying to make movies with limited resources, but I can riff the results. Also, if this movie looks familiar to anybody, it could be because footage from it was used in the opening credits for the movie Pod People when it was riffed on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, Pod People got no reason to live.
And now that I say that, it's a little surprising MST3K never got around to riffing this movie. I don't know about the craft and entertainment part, but this is technically a movie. The Galaxy Invader, starring several people who are clearly related to the director. So anyway, the movie opens with a man seeing a comet right before it crashes into the countryside, although sadly this comet doesn't have Matilda May on it. But it does have some slasher movie POV shots, so maybe we'll still get some nudity in this movie. Oh, okay, just checking. Boy, the guy who saw the comet better report this to the authorities. Or at least crank call this guy.
Hello, Dr. Tracy.
Yeah, this is Dr. Tracy.
This better be important, kid. I'm entering a Sonny Bono look-alike contest tomorrow. Oh, and remember when I said some of the cast were played by members of Don Dohler's family?
This is David Harmon. I don't know if you remember me, but I was in your class last year. I remember you talking about UFOs all the time and how it was one of your favorite hobbies. I know this will sound weird, but I just saw a UFO.
Why hire an actor to play this character when you can just have your son read his lines? I mean, he can read.
Okay, stay by the side of the road near the field. Give me time to make a few phone calls. I can be there about 6 hours from now, okay?
6 hours? Come on, Doc. That's like 2 Avengers Endgames. And if you thought things have been exciting so far... No one will be seated during the thrilling coffee slurping scene. I can't tell if these two heard the alien or if the actors just forgot their lines. And come on, you live in Redneckville, USA. How does neither one of you own a gun? Bad news, not only is there an alien in your basement, but you're also a bunch of filthy hoarders. Surprisingly enough, we do get a look at the alien pretty early, and I gotta admit, costume's not the worst I've ever seen. This looks like either a really good Doctor Who monster or a mediocre Star Wars Cantina one. Alright, that's enough alien killing. We need to get to the real focus of this movie, this random family of yokels.
Can I have some coffee, Ma?
No, coffee ain't no good, Annie. It makes you nervous.
Yeah, just sprinkle some fentanyl over your cereal like your old man here.
Mom, I'm gonna be late.
Late for what?
Huh?
You heard what I said. What the hell are you late for?
I'm gonna be late for the prom.
You're already late. You're 30.
Joe, for God's sake, she's 25 years old.
Wait, so she actually is older? Okay, maybe she's finally graduating high school on her 7th try. Carol wants to go see her boyfriend Michael, but Father Joe doesn't approve.
Oh, Mom, everybody knows Dad's a liar and a cheat. Not to mention a drunken bum.
Gotta keep that meth hand strong. Carol decides to go see Mike anyway, and Joe reacts the way any father would. He chases after her with a shotgun. And again, about Don Dohler using his family as actors.
Dad won't hurt Carol.
I hope not.
I hate him.
Perfect, sweetie. No need for another take. I think the real reason Joe's mad Carol wants to see her boyfriend is because nobody taps his daughter's ass but him. And oh yeah, the alien.
My God, what's that?
Aw, damn it, you just shot the alien's fanny pack off. All his change was in there.
Boy, ain't that something? This thing here could be worth a lot of money.
We might finally be able to pay off the dirt farm. I'm not sure where Carol is, but hopefully she'll run into a Texas Chainsaw movie soon.
Michael Smith, you maniac! Don't do that to me!
Oh, never mind, it's just her boyfriend / other dad.
I know what you're doing. You're gonna meet that Michael Smith kid.
Yeah, if by kid you mean 40-year-old. Well, maybe Carol likes him because he has more than just John Holmes' face. Meanwhile, I bet this kid is really wishing smartphones were around in the 80s so he could kill some time waiting for this guy.
Does anyone else know about this?
No, not that I know of.
You didn't mention it to anyone?
Not me. People in this town wouldn't understand something like a meteor.
Yeah, that's probably true. Most of the people around here still think rain is God pissing on them. And is the wheelbarrow really necessary? I think you could just pick that up and carry it. Michael decides to give Joe a piece of his mind. I'm sure this'll go well.
You pull one more stunt like this morning, I'm taking Carol away for good. Get going. Okay, man, I'm going.
Yeah, you really showed him, Mike. Joe contacts a local huckster named Frank, who stops by along with his, I guess, trophy girlfriend. Well, maybe Frank was only able to get a participation trophy.
Now listen. This thing you called me out here to see better be good. It is, Frank, it is.
Oh, dang it, Joe, this thing isn't big enough to be the world's largest ping pong ball. You lied to me. Frank's initially unimpressed. That is until Joe shows him this.
Well, that's something, huh?
Big deal. You can buy more explosive stuff at the general store down the street. Ugh, why does this guy have a cleavage window in his shirt? It's like he's wearing the most ghetto Power Girl cosplay ever. Frank realizes that if they can capture the alien Joe saw, that would be worth more money than just the orb. Hell, even if it turns out he's just a guy in a suit, the costume would probably be worth more. Oh, and speaking of the alien... Oh good, the alien got his fanny pack again. Now he can finally finish his hike. Alright, the alien had 2 seconds of screen time, now back to more rednecks. Frank and Joe go to a local bar to recruit a posse to hunt the alien.
And Joe and me, we need a couple of good men to go out with us tonight and do a little hunting.
You're gonna hunt at night?
Oh, come on, Frank, you know the rules. We gotta be way drunker to do that. Here's a real shocker. Finding a bunch of guys willing to wander around in the dark with guns is surprisingly easy in this place. However, Joe soon discovers that the alien managed to get his orb back.
Where's the round thing?
Oh, the green man jumped me.
Damn you, boy! Now you're gonna make me look like a fool to Frank and the guys!
Joe, if they don't already think that about you, this is probably not gonna change anything. So have these two found the alien spaceship yet?
I'll tell you what, David. We're losing light fast. Let's say we head into town and get something to eat.
Congratulations, kid. You waited 6 hours for nothing. Alright, look alive, fellas. Michael Myers ain't gonna hunt himself. Wait, what movie are we in again? Before they go, first they need a little pep talk from Frank.
Now, what we're going to be hunting out there, some kind of creature. It ain't human.
Not human? Oh man, I thought we were going people hunting tonight. Meanwhile, I bet this kid'll be glad to get something to eat since according to this movie, he's been awake for over 24 hours. Plus, I see Frank's girlfriend is busy cruising for some bar dick while he's out alien hunting.
Frank and Joe are up in the woods, and they're gonna catch this spaceman that came here.
Do you know that woman?
Yeah, it's Vicky Johnson.
See if you can get her over here.
Okay. Hey, Vicky.
I'll buy you some shots if you give me a quickie in the bathroom. You interested?
I heard you say that Frank's out in the woods. What's he doing out there?
I ain't supposed to tell nobody.
You can trust us. We wouldn't tell anyone, would we, David?
No, not a word of it.
And even if we did, it'd probably be really stiffly delivered. Not only does Vicky tell him about Frank's plan, but they also leave her with the tab. Talk about a win-win. Alright, remember fellas, you're only allowed to take 1 bottle of whiskey each. I don't want your aim getting shaky. I guess it's fitting that they used footage from this for the opening of Pod People, since I think they just wandered onto the set of that movie. Wow, Greenie, you can do stupid things. They managed to corner the alien, but they're not the only ones who brought guns. Yeah, that's right. Earth isn't the only planet with a Second Amendment, fuckers. Oh, and did I mention David is played by Don Dohler's son?
It's actually happened. Do you realize that an alien life form has finally come to Earth? I can't believe it.
Great job, son. You nailed it. I'm not sure what the budget for this movie was, but I think most of it was spent on fireworks. So, did the alien get the rednecks? Ah, damn it, choppy editing. The alien's one weakness.
Those idiots, what do they think they're trying to accomplish?
I don't know, but I'm really hoping these guys don't try to make the alien squeal like a pig. They take the alien back to Joe's place and keep it tied up in his garage. And I know I've been using a southern accent for the rednecks, but when did Frank actually become southern?
You better make sure that bird don't get loose.
Don't worry, Custer. My pa always does a good job.
Well, he better, JJ, because if he don't, we're gonna hold you personally responsible, boy. It's okay, though. You and me and JJ can still carry out our plan. Come on.
I think we ought to let some of the boys take lead. You know, let them walk in front, because we don't know what we're dealing with here, and there ain't no sense in us getting our heads blowed off.
Probably not a good idea to start shooting before your actors decided what state he's from. Not only did they get the alien, but Joe also got his gun.
Joe Montague, I have had it. You're fooling around with something you don't know anything about.
Yeah, but to be fair, you could probably say that whenever Joe does pretty much anything. Now that they have the alien's gun, they can shoot the rats in the basement and cook them up for dinner later. Meanwhile, David and Dr. Tracy try to rescue the alien.
Looks clear, David. Guess now's as good a time as any.
Hey, Doc, according to the movie, I haven't slept in over 2 days. Could I at least go home and take a nap before we do this? Phew, good thing these two were able to make it past Joe's crack security. And why the hell are you trying to help this thing anyway?
This is the most incredible moment of my life, David. I feel sorry for it.
Yeah, the alien never hurt anybody, as long as you don't count the 2 people he murdered at the beginning. Now that they've freed the alien, the plan? Run like a bitch. Well, looks like the doc's dead, but luckily for Frank, that's actually legal in their county. The alien comes along and kills Frank, but unfortunately he forgets that guns can be used by more than one person. Alright, looks like the alien's dead, so does that mean the movie's over? Oh, wait, I guess he's okay. Carol manages to find David, and I see Michael was busy turning a picnic blanket into a shirt.
Michael, we've got to get those things back to the spaceman.
It'll probably leave us alone if he gets the gun back. Dr. Tracy didn't think the alien was hostile.
Yeah, the alien isn't hostile unless it's in a basement, apparently. Speaking of which, Carol might want to watch out right about now. Here's hoping she runs into the deadly spawn down here. At least that movie was kind of decent. Jeez, you're no prize yourself, lady.
Oh, God, I saw it. It touched me. This green thing came down and touched me. It was horrible.
Weren't you supposed to be trying to help it? What the hell is going on? If they want to get the alien's gun back, just wait until Joe passes out from his morning drinking session and then take it from him. So while the rest of the family meets to discuss how to help the alien, Vicky drops by Joe's place to ask about Frank. And once again, I resent the fact that Joe is the one showing the most cleavage here.
Oh, get your hands off! Get off me!
Oh wow, in addition to being a drunk, Joe's rapey too. What a shocker. Well, at least Joe kinda got to shoot a load on her back. Plus, just cause she's dead doesn't mean you still can't have a little fun with her. Alright, I joke, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joe actually did that. Anyway, the rest of the family finally decides to get the alien's gun back. Guess I was right about just waiting until Joe passed out. And there's still 10 minutes of the movie left, so let's see how they drag this out. You know, Don, there's no rule that says you have to use every single bit of footage you shot for this. Also, after you return the alien's gun, you should probably report your dad for murder.
Get off me! Joe! No! Joe!
Or, you know, just let him escape, whichever you feel like. How the hell are you not able to restrain a guy whose diet consists of Pabst Blue Ribbon and Funyuns? Well, I guess this isn't too bad. Having Joe chase him around the woods with a shotgun is just a weekly occurrence for this family. They eventually get cornered near a cliff/hole the director dug, but thankfully the alien's there to save him. Okay, I guess the hillbilly meth head wins. Well, that does it, Joe. There's only room for one guy with a terrible shirt in this movie. Hey guys, I don't think standing around staring is helping Michael win. You might want to actually do something. Eventually, though, Joe's wife decides she's had enough. Even though she should have decided that when he got whiskey dick on their wedding night. Okay, that part made the whole movie worth it. Poor Joe. He died as he lived, bloated and wearing a shirt reeking of BO and cheap beer. Even though the Galaxy Invader was never featured on Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie did end up getting the riff tracks treatment, and in recent years it's gotten a bit of a reputation as one of the worst movies ever made. Whether or not you think it is going to depend on how many bad movies you've seen. Personally, I've seen a lot, but I will say that out of all of Don Dohler's aliens terrorizing rednecks movies, this one is my least favorite. While they still weren't exactly professionally made, movies like The Alien Factor and Nightbeast have a low-budget energy to them that helps make them entertaining. This one, on the other hand, feels like a short film that got stretched out to feature length with a bunch of long, drawn-out scenes, not to mention the alien is barely even in it. Still, there are some parts that are pretty funny, although if you're planning on watching this with some friends, it's probably best to get as shit-faced as Joe here. You know, I can't help but think I've opened Pandora's box a bit here, since now that I've done one Don Dohler film, I'm probably gonna have to get to all of them eventually. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.
What the hell is it, Joe?
You may remember that a while back I reviewed the movie The Galaxy Invader from Maryland-based filmmaker Don Dohler. Well, that was just the tip of the iceberg, because when it comes to low-budget, do-it-yourself sci-fi horror flicks, Dohler's filmography is a treasure trove of riffable material for guys like me. In this episode, I'm going to talk about what is arguably his most infamous movie. And just a reminder, Galaxy Invader had this. It's gonna be pretty hard to top that, but I think this movie just might do it. Alright, so it's 1982 and both slasher movies and sci-fi movies are popular at the box office. So what do you do if you're Don Dohler? You make a slasher movie about an alien, of course. And that's basically what this movie is. Just take a Friday the 13th movie and swap out Jason for a rejected Star Wars Cantina alien and boom, you got Nightbeast. Produced on a budget of just $14,000, Nightbeast contains the same homemade feel as Dohler's other movies, which depending on your point of view is either part of its charm, or why you should only watch it after downing enough alcohol to kill Bon Scott. Because it deals with an alien invader, Nightbeast is supposedly a partial remake of Dohler's first film, The Alien Factor, but by that logic, a lot of Dohler's filmography could be called remakes of that movie, including Galaxy Invader. There are some important differences, though. Whereas Galaxy Invader was about an alien landing in rural Maryland and terrorizing rednecks, this movie is about a different alien landing in rural Maryland and terrorizing rednecks. Oh, and get used to that laser sound effect, cause you're gonna be hearing it a lot coming up. Back in the 80s, they used to joke that one of the Rocky sequels would have him fight an alien. Well, this movie may not have Rocky, but it does have a Drago. Okay, to be positive for a second, I gotta admit I do kinda like the soundtrack here. It actually kinda feels like we're about to watch a moody sci-fi flick. I mean, the rest of the movie's not gonna live up to it, but it's a good start. The music was done by Jeffrey Abrams, also known as J.J. Abrams. That's right, that J.J. Abrams. I guess I should make a joke about this still being better than The Rise of Skywalker, but I don't know, how about you wait until the end of the video and then you be the judge? Anyway, we begin with an alien spacecraft that looks like it can't decide what planet it wants to crash land on. No problem, this meteor decides for it. You're going to Maryland whether you want to or not, asshole.
What the hell was that?
The plot, what else? Come on, fellers, let's see if we can get whatever crashed in the woods to squeal like a pig. As if crashing in the middle of Maryland wasn't bad enough, the alien accidentally hit the self-destruct button on his ship instead of the emergency brake. The local police noticed the crash too, because apparently the station's located right in the middle of the woods. Here's our main character, Sheriff Cinder, and between this movie and Sorceress, why were big perms on white guys so popular in the early 80s? Alright, better go see if that crash was a Superman and then call the adoption agency. And why are you phoning Dee Wallace this late at night? Can't you see she's hungover? The alien's kinda like the villain in a slasher movie, but instead of killing teenagers for having sex, it kills Hicks for drinking Miller Lite. It even teleports like a slasher movie villain. Yeah, who needs a machete when you have a gun that can sparkle wipe people out of existence? Thankfully, there's enough flannel-wearing victims around here to last the whole movie.
Damn, what are you trying to do, give me a heart attack?
Damn it, how many times have I told you kids never to fake scare me like that? Especially because it means he's not prepared when a real scare shows up. I'm not sure what species this alien is, but it kinda looks like a shaved orangutan whose teeth are trying to explode out of its mouth. Well, whatever it is, I hope it's the type that doesn't mind killing kids. But I guess we could still add even more victims.
Do you hear that?
What?
Somebody's running towards the house.
Alright, I'll check.
I would make a joke about this guy having 2 days till retirement, but I get the feeling he doesn't have a job. God damn, this alien is ruthless. We're not even 15 minutes in and it's already killed like 6 people. Still hasn't got those damn kids though. Hey, you know what? I'm on Team Alien now. Oh, and if you thought that at this point the movie was gonna slow down and take a breather for a little bit... Jesus Christ! Nope, that alien still got more killing to do. The alien engages the police in a shootout, and I think Don Dohler was trying to set a record for most flannel shirts destroyed in one movie. Either that or most laser sound effects. It's like listening to a dubstep remix of an 80s arcade game. Well, the paperwork for all this is gonna be a bitch. Better get back to the station and get started on it.
It'll be late soon. Might help us see that thing better.
Oh, I don't know, we saw it pretty well earlier. Rather than alert the government that alien life exists, the police instead want a local hunter to try and kill it, although I think that could be for selfish reasons.
Look, I don't know what kind of weapon that thing is using, but I want it.
I mean, think of how many squirrels I could vaporize with that thing. First, though, they gotta find it again.
George Michaels says he was driving on Route 7 near the old Hardrow farm. Something weird ran in front of his car and he almost hit it.
What? No way is the alien gonna kill George Michael. He still needs to make Careless Whisper. Okay, now that it's daytime, they're gonna try and build some suspense looking for the alien, right? Alright, say what you want about this movie, at least it knows where its priorities are.
Why don't you just blow the thing's head off, Dad?
Hey, get the weapon first, then blow the thing's head off.
Or you could just kill it and then take the weapon, that'd probably be easier. You know, I think I just figured it out. Did anyone have one of those toy laser guns that made lots of noise as a kid? It's like somebody made a movie adaptation of that toy. And congratulations, asshole, you just broke one of the most memorable things about this movie. This guy's not crying because he failed to get the alien, he's sad because he killed a gun. Now that we're over 20 minutes in, we should probably introduce some subplots. Sheriff Cinder goes to the town mayor, who by the looks of it just got done directing porn in his basement. And if you guess that he behaves just like the mayor from Jaws, you'd be correct.
You don't understand, Jack. I've got this party for Governor Embry here this afternoon, remember? Bert,
I've got something running around killing people.
I can't cancel this party with the governor.
Damn it, Sheriff, Amity is a summer town! Cinder tells the mayor to evacuate the town, which shouldn't be too hard. There's only like 30 people who live here. Oh, and remember how the credits said there was a character called Drago? Well, here he is.
What brings you way out here away from your cozy little office?
Keep moving, Drago, before I run you in for disturbing the peace.
Hey, I'm scared to death. A big, tough sheriff might just try to take me off my bike.
Yeah, Drago's a teenage rebel getting ready to collect his AARP benefits. If you're wondering just what the hell this character's purpose is, it's to add some, I guess, drama?
Hey, is it alright if we stop by Susie's house on the way? I haven't had time to warn her.
Drago's girl?
Yeah, I've been seeing her lately.
I mean, come on, Sheriff, there's like 5 women in this whole town. I had to pick one. They better get there quick. Drago is really abusing his mail-order bride, even if she can't seem to stop herself from smiling while he's doing that. Alright, if anyone wants me, I'll be reading the penthouses I got stashed in the woods. Thank God the sheriff arrives to help her.
Drago was just here hassling her.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she said she could throw her stuff together and be out of here in a few minutes.
Good. Let's go.
You might want to stick around to make sure she's safe before you leave, but... No? Okay. Hey, what the hell are you doing, Drago? Don't make her call the cops so they can leave after being told you beat her again. Drago ends up killing her, because hey, why should the alien have all the fun in this movie? Despite that bit of domestic violence, how's the mayor's big party going?
You know, I didn't see too many people when we came through town. It seemed a little deserted. Well, it's Saturday morning. People are sleeping late. But let me assure you, some of the nicest folks are right here.
Yeah, I'll say. You got quite the collection of Maryland 6s at your party, Mayor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Phillips. Would you care for a drink?
No, thank you. I never drink on the job.
Oh, Bert and I always drink on the job.
Hey, I can relate to that. Damn it, Bert, I told you to close the beaches. I mean, your pool. Don't you know there's a shark on the loose? I mean, alien? Damn, looks like everyone in this movie's getting shit-faced. Not that I blame him. Alright, you know what? I might as well make that psych drop the alien's catchphrase, because he pops up out of nowhere a lot in this movie. Even if the alien doesn't have his gun anymore, turns out he doesn't need it. He can just choppily edit people to death. Quick, better go hide from it in the basement. That usually works out well in horror movies. Somewhere in this same basement, the alien from Galaxy Invader is burying the bodies of that couple it murdered. Alright, time to see if the coast is clear.
Psych? No? Okay, I'll just try again later, I guess.
In addition to being a murderer, the alien is also really messy. Not only that, but it also somehow doesn't see this guy trying to electrify the floor. Seriously, you could set up an entire Home Alone movie's worth of traps down here without this thing noticing. At least now we discover the alien's weakness: basement rave parties. Okay, you found out the alien doesn't like faulty wiring, but wait a second, didn't Drago strangle his girlfriend earlier?
We were checking all the houses, Doc, and we found it like this.
Wow, I can tell this guy's really upset. Or trying really hard to remember his lines.
I'm sorry, Jamie. There was nothing that could be done.
You're sure it wasn't the creature?
No. She was strangled.
Yeah, everyone knows aliens don't strangle people, dummy. You know, even if it was the alien that killed her, you should probably go kick Drago's ass anyway. And take it easy, fellas, the movie's flannel shirt budget is already stretched as it is. This fight scene goes on for so long and even moves into a different day of filming. Alright, I roughed him up a little bit. That ought to be enough to make up for the murder. Anyway, see you later, Drago. I guess murder must not be a big deal in this town since they have the same 2 police officers investigating an alien killing spree. And their strategy so far seems to mainly consist of running away from it. Just like in Galaxy Invader, this movie has way too many shots of people aimlessly running through the woods. But at least this time they mix it up a little bit with some POV shots. And oh no, the sheriff! Alright, that's one thing Galaxy Invader has over this movie. It does have a funnier scene of a guy falling off a cliff. Alright, I think we killed enough screen time running through the woods. We can probably go home now. Another difference between Nightbeast and Galaxy Invader: this movie's rated R and makes sure to take advantage of it. And I don't just mean with the gore.
Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing?
The director thought it'd be a good idea to include a sex scene. For some reason. And in case you don't think that's where this is going, think again. Let's see what the sheriff's game is like.
You know, you're a very attractive girl, Lisa. I guess I never really noticed before.
You being attractive, I mean. Yeah, time for stag movie Donald Sutherland and this random truck stop diner waitress to get it on. Truly not since Tanya Harding's honeymoon tape has the screen crackled with such raw sensuality. Fun fact, this scene was actually put in after most of the filming was done in order to fill out the movie's runtime. Alright, I guess it was either this or more shots of people running through the woods. At least there's no more awkward dialogue during this part.
It's a nasty gas you have there.
Boy, good thing that wasn't the sheriff's line. Anyway, what's everybody else doing?
I want another drink party.
You don't need another drink. You're drunk already.
Please tell me they're not gonna show these two fuck now. Oh good, he got whiskey dick and passed out first. That's not gonna stop Mary Jane though. Once she has a few drinks in her, she gets a real craving for doughy middle-aged white guy dick.
Damn it, Mary Jane, why aren't you two out of town?
But you're still here, Stephen. And so's Bertie. And so am I. We can have a little party, just the three of us.
Fun fact, that actress actually got loaded for real in order to make her performance more believable. I actually don't know that for a fact, I'm just really getting that feeling. Stephen tells him to evacuate along with the others, but don't do that. There's still 20 minutes left and we need more victims for the alien. Alright, I know I'm using that psych clip a lot in this video, so to make up for it, here's another sound effect I use too much. I can appreciate that this movie tried to include some gore effects on a very limited budget, although they're still not as good as the ones in The Deadly Spawn. Which is weird, considering the same guy did the effects for both movies. Well, this means you're the only potential victims left in town, so time to figure out how to kill this thing.
Guns have no effect on that thing.
Guns don't, I know that. But if we could hit that thing with 20 or 30,000 volts of electricity, we might be able to stop it.
Where would we get that kind of voltage?
Easy. Just travel back in time to 1955, then wait for lightning to strike the clock tower. Or just steal a transformer from your local power plant. That works too. With all these POV shots, I'm tempted to put the Friday the 13th soundtrack over this. But I guess some discount Tangerine Dream will do instead. Oh yeah, I forgot Drago was in this. I think the reason he strangled that other girl was because it's the only way he can get an erection. That would explain why we're seeing his cum face here. Also, between this movie and Galaxy Invader, why the hell does Don Dohler always have guys wearing shirts with cleavage windows in them? Oh, I guess it was so they could do that effect. Alright, well that still doesn't explain this other guy.
God, the poor girl. Jack, we have to get her out of these clothes.
Yeah, don't worry, we already did that earlier. The plan is to electrocute the alien by setting a trap near the farmhouse, and I see Lisa's gone from police officer to potential Doobie Brothers groupie. Speaking of doobies, it looks like somebody's trying to hotbox the woods. Alright, listen everybody, while we get this trap ready, the rest of you just randomly wander around the forest so we can fit in a few more kills before the end of the movie. Got it? Psych. I appreciate the climactic shootout, but I could really use some more of those ray gun effects like they had at the beginning. Well, I guess they must have ran out of money. Alright, time to zap this toothy son of a bitch. I don't know if that's a good idea while you're still touching the wires. Damn it, I knew I should have brought rubber gloves! Alright, they successfully killed the alien and made it to 80 minutes. And because epilogues are for suckers, that means we can cut right to the credits. Hit the music, JJ! In my Galaxy Invader video, I mentioned that it was my least favorite of Don Dohler's Aliens Terrorize Rednecks movies. Well, now I just did my most favorite Aliens Terrorize Rednecks Don Dohler movie. I mean, yeah, it still has a lot of the same low production values, wooden acting, and frequent plot holes that Galaxy Invader did, but there's a lot more sleazy entertainment value to be had here, and if I'm watching a low-budget movie called Nightbeast, sleazy and cheesy is exactly what I'm looking for. Whereas Galaxy Invader was rated PG, this one is rated R, and Dohler takes advantage of that by adding copious amounts of gore and even some nudity. I mean, maybe not the kind of nudity you'd want to see, but at least he included it. E for effort, right? Even at just 80 minutes, parts of the movie still feel padded out, which is a problem a lot of Dohler's films have, but as bad movies go, it's a lot more entertaining than Galaxy Invader. It's also gotten a bit of a cult reputation in recent years, with clips of it even showing up in the Nicolas Cage movie Mandy, a case of a future cult flick giving a shout out to an older one. It just goes to show that with a little hard work, some spare change, and a couple of friends willing to get naked on camera, you can make something people still talk about decades later. Well, it's all for now. Until next time.
I'm ruined. I'm ruined.
There, Bertie. It'll be all right.
Don't call me Bertie!
Time once again to talk about everyone's favorite low-budget Maryland filmmaker that isn't named John Waters, that is, Don Dohler. And today I'm going back to the beginning and talking about his first feature-length movie. Now this one deviates a bit from his usual formula. Instead of being about an alien landing in rural Maryland and terrorizing a bunch of yokels, here a bunch of aliens do that. After years of putting out movie fanzines, eventually Don Dohler decided to take the initiative and make his own movie, writing, directing, and self-producing the alien factor himself. Like his other movies, this one has a real homemade DIY aesthetic, because according to Wikipedia, the budget was only $3,500, although some other sources I've read say the budget was more like $10,000. Either way though, that was an extremely tiny budget for a movie, even back in 1978, which just goes to show that with enough determination, you can make your own movie, even if you don't have a lot of money. And while it only had a few theatrical showings, Dohler managed to sell the movie to several TV stations, which is where most people first saw it. Not bad, considering the budget here would barely even cover the catering on most other movies. See, nowadays anybody can make a movie and just put it on Tubi or YouTube, but back then if you wanted people to see something you made for no money, you really had to put some work in. Brought to you by Cinemagic Visual Effects, Dynamation's bargain bin cousin. Alright, I joke, but for such an extremely low-budget movie, this opening title sequence is actually pretty well done. If I was around in 1978, I might have worn a shirt with this logo. Actually, you know what? I still might do that. There's a good reason the opening credits are the most professional-looking part of the movie. They were done by Ernest Farino, who also made the opening title to The Terminator. Okay, that's not quite J.J. Abrams doing the soundtrack to Nightbeast, but it just goes to show everybody's got to start somewhere. Of course, I'm still gonna make some jokes here. For example, Christopher Gummer sounds like a porn parody version of Christopher Plummer, like he'd play General Wang in Sex Trek 6. And you can't get through a movie like this without a whole lot of Johnny Walker. Anyway, that's enough of space. Let's get to where the action is. Bumfuck Maryland. Let's see. Two people drinking and about to have sex in a car at the beginning of a monster flick? I'm sure they'll be fine.
The sun's going down, Rex. I guess you're gonna have to take me home now.
My parents gave me a curfew even though I'm 30. Bad news, not only does a monster end up cock-blocking this guy, but now the girl doesn't have a ride home. She's gonna miss her curfew. Oh, wait, never mind. Looks like she got a ride with the local sheriff.
I found Mary Jane Carter. She's a bit bruised up, and I think she's in shock, but she should be okay.
What about Rex Walker? His father called again a few minutes ago.
Wait, his father? Was this guy actually supposed to be a teen? I guess he must go to the same high school as Caroline Monroe and Slaughter High.
Rex is dead, Pete.
Damn, and tomorrow was gonna be his 20th, 17th birthday. I don't know if the authorities in this town are equipped to solve this mystery.
She say anything about what happened?
Shock, Bert. She didn't say anything.
Oh, right. What about Rex?
Well, he's dead, so he didn't say much more than she did. The townsfolk are baffled, but it's still not as confusing as some of the editing here.
Rex wasn't looking for it, was he?
Oh, I see the movie's edible just kicked in. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it feels like I'm watching a gritty reboot of Slim Goodbody. Looks like we got another alien wandering around here, but thankfully, this one decided to wear pants. Jeez, the locals don't stand a chance. This town doesn't even have a real hospital.
I've been looking at these wounds, and something is not quite right.
Well, maybe if you did the autopsy somewhere other than this bedsheet fort you made for a sleepover, you'd have a better idea. The doctors are called by a local reporter who I think is in the living room right beside them.
Would it be fair to say that the likely cause of death at press time was an attack by a large animal?
Sure, and it's the late 70s, so just say a shark did it. Not content with the police investigation, a local posse decides to take matters into their own hands. We've got Charles Manson, Roger Daltrey, and, I don't know, Billy Squire maybe? Actually, I could have just said he looks like Don Dohler, since that's who that is. Oh, and of course one of them insists that his girlfriend come with.
I still say we're nuts to take her.
Now look, man.
We're taking her.
Look, when hunting a dangerous animal, my unarmed girlfriend is really gonna come in handy, which is also what I'm hoping to get later tonight when this is all over. So just shut up, okay? Unfortunately for these guys, even though they have guns, they forgot to bring their peripheral vision. It also doesn't help that none of them can aim worth shit.
I warned them earlier today not to go looking for the animal. I mean, I can only do so much.
What do you mean you can only do so much? What are you busy with in this town? Are you stopping people from making their own bathtub whiskey? And turns out they got more to worry about than the monster.
It's gonna be tough, Sheriff. They're calling for 5 or more inches of snow tonight.
Yeah, I heard the forecast.
Okay, I don't have any proof of this. This is just a theory, but I have a feeling they started filming in the fall. It snowed. So then they made that scene to explain it. Wait, what the hell? There's monsters that are invisible now? I don't know what this thing is, but it sounds like a pissed off Atari. And this effect kinda looks like one too. Anyway, what else is going on? I see the movie's second edible just kicked in. And looks like this guy's dead, but on the plus side, he doesn't have that stupid chin strap beard anymore. Let's see if the authorities are any closer to figuring out what's going on.
Besides being mangled, Rex's body was loaded with some sort of very lethal poison.
Which means it couldn't have been a bear or a bobcat that killed Rex.
That is true. Everyone knows bobcats are venomous and not poisonous. By the way, you may have noticed that this has a lot of the same actors as Don Dohler's other movies I've covered. We got the same guy who played the sheriff in Nightbeast, the same guy who played the mayor. They even have the same names. And it's the late 70s, so of course the mayor's got to be a Jaws-style one who wants to keep everything quiet. Except this time, it's because of an amusement park being built nearby.
Amusement park? Jack, we're talking about a $30 million entertainment complex. I mean, it could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for this town.
Come on, Sheriff. Universal Studios Maryland could be a huge moneymaker for this town. Oh, and get this. At this point, the whole alien storyline just stops, and the movie shows a band playing at a local bar for several minutes. Yeah, I always wondered what it'd be like if Austin Powers sang for the Strawberry Alarm Clock. Eventually, this guy decides to get the hell out of there and go home, although by the looks of it, one of the aliens is hammered and stumbling back from the bar too. Yeah, I feel you, pal. I too hate it when a home invasion interrupts my night of reading monster books and eating saltine crackers. Alright, I brought this up in other videos, but you ever notice that in horror movies, bad things only seem to happen in basements that are unfinished? See, if he had had some carpeting and a half bathroom down there, he might still be alive right now. And hey, we're almost halfway through and this movie still doesn't have a discernible main character, so screw it, let's introduce some new ones.
What can I do for you, Mr. Zachary? I'm from over in Harford County. I work at the Garrett Observatory there. Oh, sure, I'm somewhat familiar with that.
This is the first you're hearing of it, isn't it, Mayor?
Anyway, 2 nights ago I observed a small meteorite that did enter the atmosphere. Well, by my estimation, it hit somewhere on the north side of your town.
Meteor, huh? I wonder if it's related to that spaceship that landed nearby. Zachary wants to investigate, but the mayor won't stop talking about the amusement park.
You see, I've got this pretty big business venture cooking for this town. Involves a huge entertainment complex being built right outside of Perry Hill.
Imagine a Euro Disneyland, but in America. Of course, we all know it wasn't a meteor that landed there, it's a spaceship. Although this one's different from that other spaceship they showed earlier, which means we got some rival space aliens in this town. Either way though, both wouldn't look out of place on a Hawkwind album cover.
Do you have any idea what this means, Mayor Wicker?
Hell yeah, the new amusement park's gonna have its own space mountain now. Also, I'm grading this on a movie with the budget of a used car curve here, but with that in mind, this forced perspective model shot isn't that bad. They also discover the occupant of the ship, and it's nice to know they have tracksuits in space. Not only that, but it also telepathically communicates the plot of the movie to Zachary. Turns out the monsters are alien zoo animals who escaped when the ship crashed on Earth. And I gotta admit, as far as plots for schlocky, zero-budget sci-fi flicks go, not the worst one. Zachary says there's 3 escaped alien animals: Noisy Cricket, Stilt Squatch, and that invisible one.
The only thing I know about that third creature is that it's hard to detect in bright light. I assume it must be some sort of an energy being.
Look, there's a much simpler explanation, Zachary, which is that they didn't have enough money to show it until the end. Now that they know what they're dealing with, they gotta figure out how to kill them.
Think I can stop the creatures.
With what? I thought bullets didn't have any effect on these creatures.
Well, yeah, but that's only if you miss. Zachary thinks he has a way of stopping the monsters without calling in the military, but I'm sure the local police will help him out.
Jack, I want you to give Mr. Zachary all the help you can.
Thank you, Mayor, but I would prefer to work alone on this.
Oh, whatever you think, Mr. Zachary.
Okay. I guess this town doesn't consider killer aliens much of a priority then. And I think the real terror in this movie is the soundtrack. It's like I'm getting screamed at by a ColecoVision. Well, they're gonna be going through the woods looking for those aliens. Better burn that stash of Playgirls I put out here before anybody finds them. And you can kill some screen time by aimlessly walking for a few minutes too. You might want to watch out for fake-out scares, though.
Hey, you haven't told me what you're doing out here.
Same thing as you, I guess.
I didn't want anyone to find my stash of Playgirls. Hustlers. Bad news for these two. Not only are the aliens immune to bullets, but they're also immune to having an empty can weakly thrown at them. They also can't seem to run very fast, but that's not going to help if you try squirming away on the ground from them. Guess that alien finds the soundtrack annoying too. Oh, never mind, it was Zachary's doing.
Then you killed it. How?
I've got a high-frequency speaker over there. In effect, what I did was use an extremely high-pitched sound to burst its shell.
And if that didn't work, I was gonna blast the Osmonds Christmas album at it. Nothing in the universe can withstand that.
I've extracted some fluid from the joint of this thing's claw. I'm sure it'll be the same poisons found in several of the victims.
Yeah, I don't think you need extra proof that this is one of the aliens that's been going around killing people. They'll probably take your word for it. And that includes the sheriff.
I'm gonna go down the street and get some breakfast. I'm starved.
Yeah, you have been hard at work doing jack shit all day. And if anyone's wondering what happened to that tall furry monster they showed earlier... Building amusement park could potentially harm local small businesses. You know, it's weird. Even though this was Dohler's first movie and had a tiny budget, the monster suits here actually seem to look a little better than the ones in his later movies. Look, he even gave this one moving jaws. I mean... yeah, sure, the rest of him kind of looks like Chewbacca with Torgo legs, but still, that's a detail he didn't have to include. I maintain what I said in my earlier Don Dohler videos. These things could either be good Doctor Who monsters or mediocre Star Wars Cantina ones. I guess this alien's bulletproof too. Luckily, Zachary has a way to stop it. Insulin, my one weakness!
What did you use to kill it?
It's a specially designed weapon I devised myself. It fires a projectile placed at the tip, in this case a hypodermic needle which injects fluid upon impact with the target.
What are you, the Maryland version of Q from the Bond movies? How are you making all this stuff? Despite Zachary getting rid of 2 of the monsters single-handedly, the sheriff still has some suspicions about him.
My hunch was right. They never heard of a Mr. Zachary at the Garrett Observatory.
Okay, he still killed 2 of the aliens, which is a hell of a lot more than you did. Who cares if he embellished his resume a little bit? Alright, 2 aliens down, which means there's only 1 more to go, namely that invisible one we saw, or didn't see earlier. Now you're probably thinking, an invisible monster? Dohler must have ran out of money and cheaped out on this one. Well, that's not quite the case. Yeah, that's right. This movie has a stop-motion animated monster in it. I mean, Sure, it's see-through, and the animation isn't going to be giving Ray Harryhausen a run for his money or anything, but still, something like this had to have taken a lot of time and effort for such a low-budget movie. Not only does this have multiple aliens instead of Dohler's usual one, but he never attempted anything like this ever again. It's almost like because this was his first movie, he decided to put more effort into this one, then afterwards just said, alright, from now on it's just one guy in a suit per movie. And turns out this thing's weakness is... hitting it with a stick? Or, I don't know, maybe the animator just ran out of money. Well, looks like all the alien zoo animals have been defeated. Wait a second, wasn't there another alien wearing jeans at the beginning? Well, get ready for one final twist.
Mr. Zachary, are you all right?
You certainly are persistent, Miss Martin.
That's right. Turns out Zachary is actually an alien who's been sent to take care of the escaped animals. You know what? I can see an episode of a 60s sci-fi TV series doing a twist like this. In fact, this whole movie is kind of like Dohler just made his own Outer Limits episode.
I'm getting confused. If it can take the life out of others, why couldn't it kill you?
That's what you're confused by? Can you not see that he looks like a They Live burn victim?
I'm surprised you haven't figured it out.
Yeah, so am I.
I still don't understand. You're human like us and you speak English.
Wow, you are really dumb, lady. And wouldn't you know it, Zachary's the one alien in this movie that isn't bulletproof.
It was Zachary, Jack. It was Zachary. He wasn't gonna hurt me.
Nice one, Sheriff. Now you can take credit for killing all the aliens. By the way, that's where it ends. Now we got to feature length, so screw it, roll the credits. Alright, even though this was Don Dohler's first movie, if you're familiar at all with the rest of his filmography, you pretty much know what to expect here. Objectively speaking, this is not a good movie. The acting, directing, and production values are all amateurish, to the point where it almost feels like you're watching somebody's fan film than a real movie. But that's also weirdly part of the movie's charm. This is something that was clearly made by somebody who loved old monster flicks and decided to make one of his own with the limited amount of money and resources he had on hand. So while this may be easy to make fun of, it's hard for me to truly hate on it. Okay, sure, there's definitely some slow parts. Like a lot of these types of movies, it falls into the trap of showing people walking aimlessly for several minutes just to fill time and get it to feature length. But if you manage to have a fun bad movie night with Don Dohler's other alien flicks, this one should work too. Just remember to bring lots of Johnny Walker. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.
Come on, let's do it.
Thought I was done with Maryland filmmaker Don Dohler? Last time I did his first movie, so now it's time to talk about his second. Largely owing to its small budget, Dohler's first movie, The Alien Factor, managed to turn a profit. So a couple years later in 1980, he followed that up with his second feature, Fiend. And while The Alien Factor only had a budget of around $3,500, for this one he had $6,000. Although I'm not really sure what he spent the extra money on, since this actually has less monsters and special effects than The Alien Factor did. Well, maybe the craft services were a little better this time around. This was also the first of Dohler's movies to be produced by Ted Bohas, who would later go on to produce The Deadly Spawn. Now, I've joked about Dohler's movies following the same formula of aliens landing in Maryland and terrorizing yokels, but this one actually breaks it. Instead of aliens, it's a zombie serial killer movie. See, he's got range. Dohler decides to get artsy with this one by beginning with some text explaining a fiend, a demonic entity that possesses corpses and has to drain the life force of other beings to maintain its existence. Call them vampires, zombies, ghouls. All I know for sure is that the life force sucker in this movie is not going to be as attractive as Matilda May. And despite what I said earlier, there's a possibility this thing is still an alien. Man, there is something strange in this neighborhood. Seriously, there's something weird and it don't look good. Jokes aside, this cemetery opening is actually pretty atmospheric. In fact, it's arguably the best opening credit sequence to any of Dohler's movies I've seen. Not sure this is a good place to take a girl, though.
Ain't that bad, at least it's quiet.
Yeah, and it's cold, too. I get the creeps in around here.
Yeah, it's a cemetery. Next time go to a movie for a date. For starters, there you only have to worry about people talking and not getting strangled by a radioactive zombie. So here's the Fiend of the title, and that girl's life force restored his youth and mustache. Now that he's been brought back to life, he makes his way to the suburbs. And remember the good old days when you could afford a home on a single zombie income? Actually, about that, I'm not sure how he's able to move into this place. All he does is take the for sale sign off the lawn, and then I guess it's just his now? I didn't know you could do that. Damn, no wonder home ownership was so much easier back then. Of course, it probably helps that this is also the director's house. Alright, now our Fiend's got himself a swinging bachelor pad, and it's probably gonna stay that way since he immediately murders pretty much every woman he meets. Well, congratulations, pal. It's bad enough you took Dohler's home, but now you just killed his wife. By the way, if you saw my video on Don Dohler's previous movie, that one had a lot of scenes of people wandering aimlessly through the woods to fill time. Now, thankfully, this one has a lot less walking, but there is definitely still some filler here. No one will be seated during the thrilling cat feeding scene. Well, this guy may be an undead serial killer, but you can tell he's classy because he drinks wine from a goblet he got at a Renaissance fair. By the way, did all this stuff belong to the people selling the house, or did he bring it all in? Well, if it's the latter, I'm glad they cut the moving in montage. Also, was the woman he killed an ex he was still mad about or something? Dude, you've been brought back from the dead. Get over it already. And speaking of his last victim,
county police say they have no suspects in the bizarre murder of a young Milford woman whose body was found late this afternoon on Brookwood Road. The victim, 21-year-old Jane Clayton.
She was 21?
Honey, I'm home.
I'm back from my job selling carpeting for used cars. These two are the Kenders, who live next door to the Fiend, who's taking the name Eric Longfellow and apparently works as a violin teacher.
For 7 months he's lived next door, and for 7 months we've had nothing but screeching violins.
You can hear the violin next door? These are detached houses. What is he, plugging it into a Marshall stack? The Kenders also talk a lot about their kids, which is kind of weird considering we never once see them in the entire movie.
Our boys decided they'd like to do a science fiction movie in the spring.
Yeah, that'll be something to see.
Maybe in 40 years, some smart-ass Canadian will talk about it on the internet. Well, Longfellow seems to be living his best life. He's like Hugh Hefner if the Playboy Mansion was a split-level ranch in Maryland and had only one pussy in it. Mr. Kender, however, is suspicious of him, although personally I think he's just jealous he no longer has the biggest mustache in town. I would say the people here shouldn't walk alone at night, but Longfellow commits most of his crimes in broad daylight. This means he's gonna have to be subtle. Or not. Well, I see being dead didn't affect Longfellow's upper body strength at all.
Oh my God.
What?
I don't believe this.
What? What is it?
The Colts lost again! They ought to move that stupid team. Oh, and there's been another murder. And wait a second. Not only does Longfellow run his own business, but he even has an assistant? This guy's like the most productive zombie ever. I can see why he doesn't fit in, though. He's the only guy in this entire neighborhood who doesn't wear clothes that look like either a picnic table or a shower curtain. Why can't everyone here just respect the fact that Longfellow doesn't like interacting with people? Besides, you know, when he murders them. Damn kids with your sports ball, you're interrupting my day drinking. Oh, well, that wasn't that bad. Back then you could smack a neighborhood kid and not get in trouble for it. Oh, looks like I spoke too soon. By the looks of it, Longfellow's gonna go from being a regular serial killer into straight up Albert Fish territory. And just when you think, this movie's not gonna go there, is it? Yeah, it totally goes there. This was the first movie Dohler made after the release of Halloween, and it seems like his attempt to get in on the slasher movie craze of the early 80s. People who have only seen his campier Alien Invader flicks might be a little surprised with this one, because this is arguably the darkest movie he ever made. Don't expect any gore or nudity, though. Dohler was very much an old-school sci-fi horror fan, and when he did include those things in his movies, it was only because he felt he had to. And considering his track record with sex scenes, that's probably for the best. This latest murder has shocked the whole community. Well, kind of.
Found little Christy Michaels dead.
What?
Oh, dear Lord, no.
I can see you're really shaken up about it. Kender immediately suspects Longfellow of the murder and does the only logical thing. He goes to his house to talk to him about it. Oh man, you interrupted him while he was listening to his Casio symphonies. Beethoven's fifth demo button. And now he's gonna criticize his home decor.
Oh, I thought you just hadn't had a chance to finish your club basement yet.
As you can see, I've made it quite comfortable.
Well, a little insulation and paneling would make it a lot more comfortable, don't you think?
And as I've said before, you wouldn't have to worry about getting killed in a horror movie. Finished basements save lives. Longfellow says he didn't hear anything, but when he goes to get more wine, Kender finds out that he got tips for his man cave from Aleister Crowley. That's weird. What kind of occultist uses a steak knife as a ceremonial dagger? Well, Kender's not able to get any info out of Longfellow. First rule of committing a murder right behind your house, always make sure you have an airtight alibi.
If it's not asking too much, if you could tell me why you had me lie to the police.
Your loyalty is expected, Mr. Fry. And if you value your position at the Academy, you'll not say another word about this to anyone.
Okay, I really don't want to risk losing a job that pays $5.50 an hour. If Longfellow wants to avoid suspicion, he might want to consider committing his murders at night. Yeah, I know those are harder to light on a low budget, but you don't get as many interruptions. Well, at least Longfellow's becoming more inclusive. See, look, he's killing men now. And to really bring home the 80s slasher movie vibe, we also get some POV shots like he's Jason Voorhees. He even teleports like Jason, too. Kender goes to see Longfellow's assistant at his office/somebody's house and asks him if he knows anything about the little girl's murder.
Got something to hide, huh, Fry?
I do not. I told the police everything.
If you're giving false evidence or lying to the police on a murder case, then you're going right up the river with your buddy Longfellow.
You're not a cop. That's why it's just a warning.
As far as the subplot about the Kender's kids making a movie goes, I gotta give Dohler credit for cross-promotion. That book she's reading about filmmaking is one Don wrote himself.
This book is really going to help us. In fact, I'd like you to pick up some more copies later this week.
Back to the weird bookstore, huh?
Why do you need to go to the bookstore? Just ask the director for more copies. I'm sure he has some. First, though, we gotta get more plot exposition.
They even had a grave robbing over in Seville County.
Oh, yeah, I know about that.
You do?
The guy's name was, William Dorian.
William Dorian. Damn, that sounds familiar.
Oh, whatever. I'm sure it won't be important later. And here is an important detail. Kender notices Longfellow forgot to pick up a fresh supply of Just for Men.
I saw Longfellow. He looks 70 years old.
I'd say he looks more like 40, even though I'll bet this actor wasn't even 30 when he made this. Yep, I was right.
We ought to see this little room he's got set up down there. And above the table on the walls are all these slashed photographs of girls.
You know, considering there's been several murders in this area, maybe I should go to the police with this info. Nah, I'll just keep investigating it myself. And again, Longfellow's really got to stop conducting all his murders in broad daylight. It makes it easy for nosy little kids to follow him.
Don't think you'll be going back, Mr. Fry.
You know, it doesn't matter if Longfellow kills this guy, he's still gonna be in the rest of Dohler's movies, and a lot of John Waters ones, too. Well, there's finally a witness to one of Longfellow's murders. Now, back to more product placement.
Well, I don't know what you're gonna do with so many copies of Film Magic, but you can tell your Boy Scout troop they owe old Gare $37.50.
Can you believe this guy? That's like if I wore my own merch and held up copies of documentaries I'm in. Good thing I'd never do that. Mr. Kender also picked up a handy occult book, because when you suspect there's a serial killer in your town, sure, demons.
One of the least mentioned creatures of legend are fiends. Ginswell's paper, filed in 1902, describes the fiend as a supernatural entity, possibly representing the culmination of evil throughout the ages.
Yeah, so I guess this one really isn't about an alien. Dohler broke his formula, and then immediately went right back to it after this. Kender also learns that another term for a fiend is Dorian, which is also the name of the corpse that was resurrected. So, wait, does that mean that Longfellow was evil before his dead body got possessed by whatever the hell this is? Or did he just coincidentally have a last name that was another word for fiend? Do they only possess people that have that name? I have so many questions. Well, in any case, Kender's going to the cemetery to get some answers. Plus, when you got a spooky location, you gotta make sure to use it as much as possible.
Excuse me, mister. Didn't mean to scare you.
I greet everybody with a fake-out scare. Well, at least this guy's helpful and tells Kender about Dorian.
What kind of guy was this, Mr. Dorian? He was a music teacher up at the grade school. I don't believe this. It's true honest. I even have his obituary right here. Yeah? Yeah.
Wait, this guy carries obituaries around in his wallet? Somebody might want to check if he's a serial killer. I'm getting some real Errol Childress vibes from him. My god, it's him! The Fiend! He's gotta rush home and still not really tell anybody.
But I found out something absolutely incredible. Unbelievable.
Well, what is it, Gary? Tell me.
I am, Marcia, but I have been up for 33 straight hours.
Also, I just found out our neighbor might be an undead serial killer, but right now I really need a power nap. Besides, there's another witness to Longfellow's murder spree, which means Kender can really mount a case against him.
And then Mr. Longfellow, he choked the man. It was weird looking. He kind of glowed red. It was horrible.
Come on, kid. The effect wasn't that bad.
If your parents will let you, would you come up to my house with me and tell Mrs. Kender just what you told me?
You should probably tell the police first, but whatever. Uh-oh. It might be too late. Longfellow's got his sights set on Mrs. Kender.
I'm not feeling very well. And I was wondering if it would be at all possible if you could bring over some kind of mild painkiller. Any kind of aspirin would be just fine.
Come on, Longfellow. If you're gonna ask a neighbor for some painkillers, start with Percocet and then work your way down to aspirin. No, Mrs. Kender, don't descend into the bowels of Longfellow's unfinished basement of doom. This place sure could use some paneling. And I had a feeling Longfellow was the type of guy who collects swords. Here's another example of this movie being darker than Dohler's usual stuff. You think Kender's wife is gonna survive somehow? Nope. She's dead. Well, there's only 5 minutes left. Time for the climactic battle of the mustaches. Despite all he's been through, this movie doesn't even give Kender the satisfaction of killing Longfellow. Instead, the kid's the one who does it by going all Corey Feldman in Friday the 13th Part 4, rather than the usual zombie headshot weakness. A fiend can only be killed by stabbing it in the ass. No, seriously, is that where he stabbed him? Because that's kinda what it looks like. And so the Fiend is defeated and the color goes back out into space, which again kind of makes me wonder if this thing really was an alien. As with the rest of Dohler's filmography, you pretty much know what you're getting here production value-wise. This has the same homemade quality that the rest of his movies do, with regards to stuff like the acting, effects, cinematography, etc., which is both crude and a big part of the movie's charm. It's also interesting to see Dohler move out of his comfort zone a little bit with regards to the darker subject matter, and a monster that's supernatural instead of alien in nature. It's fitting that this has a subplot about kids making their own sci-fi movie, because that's what a lot of Dohler's movies feel like. A big kid making his own movies with whatever he had available to him. Even if he never really broke out of low-budget regional sci-fi flicks, the guy had genuine enthusiasm, and that's something all my snarky remarks can't take away from him. Plus, this one didn't have excessive walking in the woods filler or an awkward sex scene, so it's got that going for it. Well, it's all for now. Until next time.
Excuse me, Dorian.